Good evening. This is Nice Guy Eddie. You're listening to In My Humble Opinion on Rainbow Radio. Second show back after a 4-year absence, and I am pleased to be joined tonight by acclaimed Nazi puncher Skarrlett Krow. Skarrlett, you were on the show a couple years back, actually. I don't know if you remember that, but it's good.
Oh yeah,
it's good to be talking to you again.
oh yeah, it's been a while, and that was I feel like I derailed the original topic just to sort of blurt out trauma.
We have rails? I didn't realize we don't do rails. We're good.
Fair
We're
enough.
wherever we go wherever it goes. It's just a conversation. But
Touché.
So people are probably wondering, well, those who follow me, those who follow you know exactly what I'm talking about. But to those who don't, to those who might be hearing about it the first time, you actually had the opportunity and took the opportunity to actually do what most of us only blather about on Facebook, you know, us keyboard warriors.
Oh yeah.
Talk a good game about punching a Nazi, but you actually have a story here, and I wonder if you might take us back to this whole thing. And this became more relevant recently. We'll get into that, but
oh yeah, and I feel like well, I'm aside from making my own video about this, like with my own editing, post-production, so on and so forth, I feel like this would be a good way to just sort of put this whole issue to bed. In fact, oh shoot, you know what? I should have sent the link to the actual video that was used as evidence, which is, what got me arrested for this. So
this is
yeah, pardon me while I just look through my YouTube stuff right here. Where is it?
And that jumps right to the end where it's like, or jumps right to the middle where it's like, no, we're not just covering one thing or another thing. Oh no, we've got arrests, we've got court cases, we've got fallout, you know, the whole there's a whole situation going on here.
Oh yeah, let's see. I'm just okay. So starting at about the let's be generous and say the 23-second mark. Give it a little bit of a buffer here. Okay. Sorry for putting
we'll fix here. Yeah, we'll fix the audio, but the video might, if I could say, I don't know if there's a way to insert it, but we'll see what we can do about that.
Oh yeah. Anyway, okay. So yeah, there's like something that goes on with like screen sharing, in fact, with Zoom. If I can pull up the setting for it.
Oh yeah.
I might be able to just broadcast it right here. Settings, share screen. Okay, side by side. Okay. Oh my goodness. Here I am, just delaying shit.
No worries.
Automatically.
It's not live.
Fair enough.
It's a cool necklace, by the way.
Thank you. It is actually a compilation of different skulls that I just put together. Oh, wait a second. Here we go. Share screen, host, disabled participant screen sharing.
Oh, hang on. Well, then I think I'm the host. Let me see. How do I do that? Pause, stop recording reactions, screening participants. Do you have any idea how I do that? Oh, here we go. Allow multi-join, might make host, rename, stop video, put in waiting room, remove report. Oh shoot. I'm gonna go ahead and make you host. Do you want to change?
Okay.
Okay. Try that, and then just do me one favor and change it back.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
That might work. Then
share sound, optimize for video clip, and. Where gets punched. There we go.
So we're gonna see so this is the actual video. Okay.
Okay. And yeah. Let's see. Let's knock it back a second, because this is all just, whatever build up to it. And then you can hear me call out this person's name. This is Lilith Anton, aka Draken Sayer.
I was wondering because yeah, you had posted it has a surname that rhymes with Dragon Slayer or something like that. So
Yes.
Dragon Slayer. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and right here, you can see she is responding to me calling out her name because I recognized her on site.
The fact that he's putting America first and wants to focus on
He nods. He's like, "What's up, motherfucker?" And I just show up, and bam, there we go.
Okay. All right. So now this was some sort of protest or rally or something for some.
This was
making America great and all that.
Yeah, this was August 4th, 2018, if I recall correctly. Oh yeah. This was uploaded September 6th. Wow. Okay. So anyway, but yeah. So and I blabbed about it on Facebook. I in fact.
Well, so what was the gathering all about? I mean, what were they all there for? What was the whole purpose?
I honestly don't remember. I just remember some of the more significant things that happened that day. Aside from that, well, I should say the things that are actually significant. Whereas this is just my own little private sort of thing that just my circle knows. Whereas the more publicly known occurrence to happen that day was there were a bunch of Patriot Prayer members that showed up with guns and heavy artillery and were perched up on a bunch of rooftops, and they were having.
It was a good decision to start a fight in the middle of that.
Oh, well, I mean, I didn't know about that. It was one of those things where, you find out later on in the news about, about the goings on of what happened that day. Initially, I had shown up with, a cooler, I was in Black Bloc, and I totally ruined my optic security by blabbing about it online like a fucking, well, like a moron, like a boastful idiot.
Between the two, punching a Nazi, bragging about it online, the second one was the bad decision. We can agree on that, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I've heard you describe this. I mean, again, a lot of people will look at that video and go, "You just walked up and cold cocked or unprovoked." And I've heard.
Oh yeah, no.
You made from this individual. It sounds like she's a real peach. Sounds like she's a real piece of artwork there.
Oh yeah. No, I knew this person, several years prior. And I had become friends with one of her partners, exes, long from now, exes, and found and heard horror stories of abuse and some really shady behavior, some potentially illegal stuff that even crosses my moral threshold, and crosses most people's moral threshold, yeah. So anyway, and knowing that history of that person, seeing them and seeing what side that they were on, I did what I did.
Right.
Called her out by name, made sure that it was her, just to make sure that it wasn't just some random scene chick that shared a similar style, and when she confirmed that it was her, that's when I took my shot.
Wow. And like as you say, unfortunately, there was some. I wonder how many people could potentially do something like that and not. You gotta tell somebody, that's always the way, right? It's like.
Oh yeah.
I don't
Oh
know.
yeah.
But they did figure it out. They did, and you were arrested. You were charged for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Lest
I didn't
anybody
think we
think
had any mutuals on Facebook, but apparently we did. And somebody apparently had snitched over to her about the post that I had made saying, you know, I made the domestic animal abuser / maggot Draken Sayer bleed.
that was yeah. And this is just, I mean, not, and we can, I'm just going to pause for a second. We can cut this part but I mean, this is not to out or whatever. Like I said, we can cut this if this is inappropriate. This is a member of the LGBTQ community, is she not?
Oh yeah, she's trans.
And so you committed a hate crime.
I'm trans. And someone actually tried to point that out. Right after I punched her, they were like, "You just punched a trans woman," and I was like, "I am a trans woman, you dumb fuck."
So and that's great because it's either it's not a hate crime trans on trans. It's not if somebody like this, and we'll get to this journalist, this award-winning potential Pulitzer in the making journalist that wrote this up about a year after the fact. You know, if they were to pull some misgendering shit, there's no like male on female, like you can't even claim that from a, as I say, like transphobic bigoted thing either. No, there's total equity here. Wow.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, no.
And I really don't get, I mean, I've never understood like the Milo types, you know, the log cabin Republicans, the Milos, whatever. I mean, I do realize you can be.
It's some pick me shit.
What's that?
It's some pick me shit. They want to differentiate themselves, you know, from the broader, you know, like public image of the LGBT community, or at least, you know, whatever negative perception that they have it, you know, of everything being shoved in their faces, blah 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 blah. But yeah, it's some pick me shit. It's, you know, I'm not like them. I'm better because I'm yeah.
Well, I mean, do it. I mean, yeah, but it's just like I mean, Trump, for example, just to pick, because I literally heard "Making America Great" as if that's a checkbox. Do you want America to be great? Yes, no, because it's that simple. Life is that simple, right? I mean, surely we don't want America to be great. I mean, it's so fucking idiotic. But Trump went after.
Do you want the roads to be made of hot, fiery coals that are kept flaming all the time, and walking and forced to walk barefoot, or would you rather walk on regular pavement and wear shoes?
Yeah. I mean, it's absurd, but I mean, Trump went after the transgender community specifically from day one. One of the first things he did, transgender ban, and not that I mean, I'm guessing you're not looking to join the military anytime soon.
Oh no.
Still, I mean, it's a matter of. Out of his way.
I was raised by cops and surrounded by military types. I did a short stint in a private boot camp, and just no, I'm good.
Not your thing. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you want to see legalized discrimination for all members either.
Oh yeah, hell no.
Right. I mean, yeah. And yet it wasn't gays. It's like, nope, I'm going to go after, Tara and I were talking about this last week. And as she put it, and again, guys, for anyone who can't see the video here, huge air quotes, acceptable targets. Basically, It's like, oh, who's left that we can still, oh yeah, trans people. So they went boom right after that. I'll never understand how I mean, it's one thing to say differentiate yourself from the community, but you're literally standing up for somebody who targeted you personally and specifically. I will never understand that mentality. I'll never.
Well, I mean, usually, and there's always exceptions to it. But I, you know, like people like Milo and people like Lilith, Anton, Draken, Sayer, they you know, they themselves are not in the military and such, so it doesn't affect them personally, so they don't care.
And principle doesn't really...
and you know, that's sort of, you know, a common, you know, thing with liberals and conservatives and, you know, and basically anything, you know, center, further right, etc., etc.
Right. Yeah, sadly, and you're not wrong. I mean, I'll use the liberal label because it's handy, but you're not wrong to call it liberals in that regard either. I mean, let's be honest.
Mm.
Okay, so you were arrested. You were charged with what was the original charge?
4th degree assault.
Okay, so that was, and you pled guilty for this.
Yes.
And you basically went into court and said, I mean, what was that? Was anybody surprised that somebody goes in and say, yeah, I totally did it and I do it again, bitch? I mean, like, or was it not quite? Was it couched in a little more lawyerly?
It was no. See, the way that this kind of had that this happened, there was something else that had precipitated the arrest, and it wasn't until I actually had you know, been taken to the police station in downtown Portland, and shown a still a still image screenshot that was printed from the video that I had shown.
Right.
And I was like, oh, it's for that.
so didn't you know, did they not tell you had the right to remain silent?
Oh no. See. Oh, fuck it. It's not like I'm gonna get charged for it anyway, because, you know, it's a done deal. So the night before I got arrested, I actually got into a fight at a concert. Some guy had shoved around my girlfriend in the pit, and I got huffy with them, and I was like, you know, touch her again, and they stuck their tongue out at me and decided to taunt me. So I was like, okay, you want to play that game? We'll do that. And so I took their glasses off, and then I started going on them, and then we were kicked out, and you know, I didn't make a fuss about it because I knew exactly what I was doing. I knew exactly why I was getting kicked out.
Action or not, you're gonna get kicked out. You know that. I mean, that's fair.
Yeah. I'm like, what am I like? What am I good? Am I gonna get in a fight with the bouncer and get myself banned from the place? Hell no. I you know, I like the venue. I just, you know.
Plus, it's like Ron White said, I didn't know how many of them it was going to take to kick my ass, but I knew how many they were going to use.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So you go in, all you know is you're getting charged with an assault, but you weren't actually sure which one. Oh my God.
Yeah. I knew that I was being arrested for assault, but I was initially under the impression that it was for the little bar fight that I had.
But I feel like if you're like, I mean, is a mosh pit is nothing but organized group assault. I mean, it's like, oh wow, a fight broke out in a mosh pit. I mean, that's like, what's next? We're gonna start charging hockey players with. I mean, you know, it's like. To be fair,
it was a birthday massacre concert. And yeah, their music, you know, can be pretty heavy. I mean, you know, it's guitar, you know, it's guitar related, but it's very, you know, synthy and such like that too. So you know, it was I went over the line. I went over the line the night before.
Right.
And that's what I thought I was being arrested for. But then when they showed me the screenshot, I was like, oh, it's for that. Okay. Cool.
And you were not, there was no, I mean, again, well, let's fast forward now, because one of the reasons, aside from, oh my God, I totally have to have a Nazi puncher on my show. One of the reasons this came up more recently was an article by, and I had it on my phone here. I'm going to edit this out. Hold on. I totally lost it. I had it on my phone. I had your page up and everything. Where did it go? I just want to drop this asshole's name. Oh
yeah, totally. Name and shame is the name of the game.
You remember his name? Because I don't actually need the whole article up. I'm going to go back to your page. Give me 1 second. We're going to.
Yeah.
This is why anybody wants to sit through the unedited unedited version of the footage is really earning their
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, while you do that, I will relay a little bit more detail about, you know, the events of the arrest surrounding and the confession and so on and so forth.
right.
So, so anyway, they showed me the screenshot. They were like, you know, does this look familiar? I was like, oh yeah, that's Draken Sayer. Yeah, I punched her, and you know, I was just direct. You know, I was like, yeah, I called her name out to make sure that it was her, and I took my shot. You know, I just confessed right there to the detective. Just didn't care, because I was like, oh, you know, I got, you know, if it's for that and not for the other thing, then cool, yeah, you know, well, I'll just handle this accordingly. And then the next day, you know, I was processed. I sat in the little sort of like processing center in the Portland City or Multnomah County Jail, and you know, blah blah blah. Then the next day, you know, I got released on my own recognizance. Next day, I had my arraignment. I wanted a public defender, despite the fact that I was going to be pleading guilty. And so the public defender put in an immediate plea of not guilty, and you know, and then a later court date was set, and so I was able to talk to the public defender and just be like, you know, look, you know, I know what I did. I confessed to the detective. I'm not trying to waste anybody's time.
Right.
You know, I just, you know, want you know, to mitigate this as much as possible.
Sure.
But
I mean, but you know, there's going to be a consequence, and you're just like, you know what? I mean, I did what I did. Fuck
yeah.
it, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't like death penalty. Hey, whoa, what the fuck? Wait a second, you know. But yeah, I mean,
right. And basically, I guess the understanding was with me pleading guilty and, you know, just riding along with that, then they weren't going to pursue charges on the bar fight the night before. Or at least that's my suspicion, because they mentioned another incident, and I have a feeling it's probably you know, in reference to the bar fight the night before. So,
okay.
yeah.
Well, and the reason, and I mentioned it, and hopefully this didn't get all jumbled in the audio, but I mentioned earlier that one of the things that brought this back to not relevance, but I mean relevance, at least to us on a personal level, was that there was an article on lawenforcementtoday.com posted by Pat Droney, I believe was the guy's name, although there was another name associated with this. I don't know if that's right. I'll have to, if it's wrong, I'll insert it. So apparently, now this is the other thing, is you were part of your plea deal and all that, you had to pay restitution, because that was a hell of a punch. That left a dent. That didn't leave a mark. That left a dent.
There was an immediate you know, like, it looked like a scratch, honestly, but you know, whatever. But yeah, apparently Lilith Anton Draken Sayer was still recovering from some plastic surgery on her nose, which is where I binked her.
Right. Okay, so not all of the damage. I mean, it was a good shot. Let's credit where it's due, but not all. Directly caused solely by what there was some other stuff going on anatomically, shall we say?
No. You know, I'm trying to be, you know, as honest and transparent about all the details as possible. And apparently I had done damage to that had to be repaired, and it was going to cost her around $10,000 to do so. I was the judge had me as my restitution. The grand total sum that I was ordered to pay was reduced by $1,000, and what the total was $9,650.
Yeah.
And then later, Lilith Anton Draken Sayer decided to try to sue me in civil court, which that finally that court date finally came and went in November of 2020.
Okay.
And that was just funny because I knew it was going to fall flat on its face to begin with, because basically I knew from the get-go that she was just trying to, you know, this was a spite move, and that she was trying to go over one judge's head with another, which there's laws against that.
Oh, there are. Well, I was going to say there. I mean, because I was about to say, to be fair, that is her right. But is that not? Was that not her right, or what?
I'm not exactly sure the name or the details of the law. But basically I knew that, you know, there was, you know, evidence that was presented during the restitution hearings, you know, to find out the amount that was needed and so on and so forth. And all of that had already been taken into account for.
So there was no reason to sue you civilly in tort, because
she tried using the same evidence that was used in the restitution stuff.
Double dipping that.
Yeah, that's exactly it. She was double dipping.
Right.
And I knew, you know, already that you can't do that. So I went in very confidently. And oh, sorry, I'm jumping the gun.
Oh, okay.
So before getting into the better details of that civil suit, I should precede this with you know, continuing the court details regarding the actual charge.
Absolutely.
And so the court date came where I put in the guilty plea and was sentenced to 18 months of probation, and ordered to pay restitution, which was to be determined in the later hearings, where it was, you know, it was, yeah, 9,650 was the grand total.
You will remember that number till the day you die, won't you?
Yep. And right now, I am currently at the point of owing 5,500 right now. So 5,500 is what I still currently owe.
And that's, well, are we jumping the gun to talk about how you raise some of that money?
Okay, jumping the gun still a little bit.
Okay, all right, continue that.
Anyway, and when that court date came for me to enter my plea, Lilith Anton Draken Sayer made her statement to the judge and put on a very obvious crocodile tear sob story, and was like, "I think Trump's doing a wonderful job, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, this was because, you know, this was because, you know, she doesn't agree with my politics and blah, 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 blah." Right. You know, and when I was offered the chance to make a statement, I just simply said no. I pretty much decided to, you know, keep it, you know, just
right, not grandstand about your politics. I love how they say it's about politics too, as if you punched her because of her feelings about deficit spending or deregulation or something that qualifies as politics. Folks, it's very simple. When your politics are rooted in somebody else's oppression, or when your comedy is rooted in mocking it, it's no longer a matter of politics. It's a matter of values, okay? You don't get to claim politics when we're talking about people's rights, okay?
Yeah. And this is one of the earlier followers of QAnon who has become a public face for it, whose picture has been, you know, shared in the media, you know, like on various, you know, like cable news networks and such.
Well, not to jump the gun again, but this person was at the Capitol. Am I wrong about that?
From my understanding, yeah. From what I've seen, they had entered the Capitol. So
let's have that name one more time for the FBI.
Lilith Anton Draken Sayer. Lilith Anton Sayer being the legal name, Draken, DRAKEN KKEN being her alias.
Thank you very much for that.
Here
Yeah,
I am booping the
because,
mic.
so let's talk about this, because a lot of people right now, they're hearing a story about, well, I mean, let's call it what it was, a blatant assault. You walked up and cold cocked somebody, and there's
Yes.
me over here laughing. And I want to be very clear. I want to get on the record right now, and I want to talk about that the GoFundMe account.
Yeah.
And I want to say this. Yeah, I put in because I support punching Nazis. I'm right off the bat. You're a friend of mine, and absolutely, when you were ordered to pay this restitution, you had a GoFundMe to pay the restitution, and I put in. Now hold on, you owe me a T-shirt, I think.
Oh, I thought that got refunded from the that was a separate fundraiser that I had put
Okay.
on.
Ooh, then I wondered,
but
maybe I did not contribute to the right thing. What was that from?
But yeah, that was a separate fundraiser that I had made where I did it through. It was some sort of T-shirt company, and I needed to have like an initial order of like 25 for them to actually like print them out, and send them to me, and I never made it to that threshold.
You end up, but you did get the money from that fundraiser though, yeah? Because sometimes
I got the money that was sent as like a superlative donation, whereas I'm fairly certain the people that donated with a T-shirt order, I'm fairly certain those got refunded.
Okay, good. I mean, again, for the record, I want to be on saying I support punching Nazis.
Oh yeah, and
every time.
Just to clarify, I think we should really go, like, we should clarify in detail. This person has gone on public. Well, I don't know if necessarily posting publicly on Facebook is public record,
Right.
but there are screenshots of this person saying that that she thinks that Jews are responsible for all the world's atrocities, including stuff like sinking the Titanic, among other inane
She loves George Soros.
Historical bullshit.
She loves George Soros, is what you're
Uh,
saying. Or is she not even? Is she more of the Jewish space lasers causing California wildfires?
She's one of the earlier QAnon supporters. But yeah, and they have posted memes that have basically like associated herself as a Nazi, images of Hitler, and so on and so forth.
One of these patriots that shows that they love America by waving the flags and associating themselves with the symbols of countries that got their asses kicked by America.
Yeah. And it was in a way where it was not talking about, it wasn't historical commentary, let's just put it that way. She when she was posting that kind of stuff.
Oh my God. So all right, so this leads into this. Then now I will say this too regarding QAnon. I didn't comment on this on my page for like the longest time, and some people and again, I'm gonna, the first couple of shows I'm gonna hit on this. I was off the air for about 4 years during the Trump administration because so much shit happened every fucking day that I'm just like overwhelmed. I was just like, what am I supposed to talk about today or this hour that would do it any justice and be at all relevant? And I just gave up. I couldn't even keep up with it all. So I had taken a few weeks off, and that turned into 4 years because it was like, I'm like, it's every day. It's new atrocities. Well, wait, where was I going with this? I completely lost my train of thought. Oh, QAnon. Yes, QAnon. So when it came to like QAnon, that was one where I just couldn't comment on it because I didn't like it. Whenever you get into like Gamergate or Pizzagate or any of these internet conspiracies, there's like the part that the media reports, which is always like woefully inadequate. You know, and then there's the bigger picture. Like if I were to talk about Gamergate, the problem is I know just enough about Gamergate to know that Anita Sarkeesian is very peripherally involved, and then it's a whole lot of fucking drama that I don't even want to fucking deal with. So when it came to QAnon, I realized I don't know enough about this. I don't really want to know enough about this. And I basically didn't comment on it the whole time. And I was seeing memes and all this shit coming up, but I'm like, you know what? This is another one of these fucking insane things. I don't even want to comment about it. So it was my journalistic integrity that stopped me from weighing in on QAnon early on, because I didn't know anything about it. Now I think it's been laid bare. I think we're all pretty clear. Yeah, it's just a bunch of bullshit. People were talking about child trafficking, and I'm like, this just doesn't seem to have anything to do with child trafficking. But I guess I say all that because, speaking of journalistic integrity, let's get back to Mr. Pat Droney's post on lawenforcement.com, which he felt it was relevant. This is amazing. I don't know what the opposite of journalism is, but whatever that is, that's what this guy was doing. So recently, and this was posted on January 19th, 2021. So this is only a couple weeks ago at this point. This guy was pissed off, apparently, that GoFundMe, which you did raise some money through GoFundMe. Okay.
Yeah.
So to be fair, let's put that out there. He was pissed off that GoFundMe was started after the Capitol riot, was basically saying, you know what, guys, we're not going to fund travel to political events anymore. We're not going to fund bail money for people. We're not going to fund criminal fines, etc. Like we're out. We're done. And this individual was really pissed off that apparently GoFundMe would no longer support travel to what he described as First Amendment rallies, which I love it because it's almost like these people are going to go to a rally and say, yay, Constitution, yay, free speech. Like, there's no such thing as a First Amendment rally. That's not a thing, guys. You're going to, any more than Making America Great was a thing. It's amazing how much they whitewash that. But then this guy decides he's going to go back in history just to see if he can catch an inconsistency in GoFundMe's enforcement of this brand new fucking policy. This policy that had only been around. I don't think it's
actually brand new, though.
Well, according to the article, he was saying that it had changed or something, or he said it was in his article that he said following the Capitol riot. So okay, so it's maybe not a new article, but he went back and he did find.
No, I mean the policy.
Right.
Being new.
Gotcha. And he did find an example. He found you. And oh my God, let's get a couple of the elephants in the room right out the gate. Holy shit! First of all, this dude has it in for trans women, because holy fucking shit, he was inventing new ways to misgender people by the end of this article. It was like he had a bingo card and he's like, let's see, can we do the I don't know what this person is, he, she, he. I mean, honestly, it was left off, and I almost want to give him credit for that, but it's like, motherfucker, how, like, I love it how he says, we don't know if this is a man or a woman. Well, there's this interesting thing. It's called pronouns. And also, if you use them, you can figure this out.
I'm fairly certain that Skarrlett is a feminine coded name.
I've never met a dude named Skarrlett.
So
I mean, so he goes through that. He goes through how, I love how, okay, so you are a member of Antifa. Did you know that?
Oh, they have membership now? No way. Oh,
and cool. just like every member of Antifa, you have no assets, therefore you're wasting taxpayer money on a public defender. Now, this great defender of the Constitution apparently does not think that you are entitled to legal defense. Even though that's literally guaranteed by the Constitution.
Yeah.
So this constitutional scholar is great at that. And then oh God, where else we go? Oh, at one point, now they did say something about an audio company that you were trying to get a little extra money to fund.
Just basically, I was anything that went over paying the final amount of restitution, anything that went over that
Right.
would go to, you know, like helping out, you know, like various friends of mine that, you know, are in various, you know, states
Right.
of need, you know, like needing to have their rent paid and such like that. You know, because, you know, I have friends that are disabled, and friends that are, you know, screwed over from, you know, well, like in the past
Discrimination.
year that have been screwed over by the pandemic,
Oh yeah, that too.
although
Oh,
this fundraiser precedes the pandemic.
but things
So
happen. Sure, sure. Now, for all of that, and this is what I love. You were called by this individual a dirtbag. You are a dirtbag because of all of this. And I'm just wondering, like, I'm like, dirtbag, really? I mean, why so angry, dude? What did this person do to you? Where the fuck is this anger coming from?
I mean, to be fair, I kind of identify as the bastard of bastards, given my actual like family history, given that both of my parents were adopted, as well as I was taken, adopted, and then given up again. So I'm kind of like, in a literal sense,
And for anyone
the
who wants
bastard
to
of
hear more
bastards.
about that, there was a show that we talked about that back in, I'm going to get the year wrong, but I think it was 2016. And you can find that on eddiecabot.blogspot.com. Go to the IMHO 2016 tab, and you will find that was one of the reasons I want to talk to you, because that was not amazing. That's a terrible way of saying it. That was just a whoa. I mean, like that was a story. And I'm adopted myself. I should point that out too. I don't know if I disclosed that in the previous interview, but I'm adopted myself. So your experience with adoption and my experience with adoption are very far apart. Holy fucking.
Oh yeah.
I mean, wow. So, but yeah, all right. So where were we? Oh, dirtbag,
Yes.
bastard of bastards. Okay. And I mean, and obviously, if you are willing to go up and cold cock somebody and then walk into court and say, yeah, I totally did that. Yeah, okay, you're not shy about where you wear your pots. But I'm like, really, dirtbag, what did this person do that caused so much anger? You're angry at GoFundMe because of an apparent double standard or whatever. And I mean, so let's talk about that. Okay, so I mean, first of all, if GoFundMe wants to have a policy that says they don't want to pay for any bail, restitution, fines, criminal activity whatsoever, and they don't want to fund political oriented stuff. I mean, how do you feel about that as a basic policy?
I am honestly not too sure if I have much of a opinion that I can give on that, other than
Okay. You're biased, obviously.
I mean, I'm not exactly sure where my case actually lies in this, because you know, this is all, you know, stuff that's said and done, and it's basically just, you know, hey, if anybody can help me, you know, get this stuff, you know, taken
Right.
care of, you know, because you know, yes, I did this. This is why.
And it wasn't like, this is why I bring up the dirtbag comment, because I'm like, you were not at all deceptive about what you were raising money for. If they had a policy that said they weren't going to support that, you were very clear about what had happened. I mean, as he pointed out, literally bragging. And let's also point out the obvious, taking responsibility for it in court. You weren't, as you said earlier, you weren't wasting anyone's time making excuses. You weren't going to grandstand about left-wing politics or anything like that. You're like, yep, I punched her. I like to get as lenient a sentence as possible.
I pled guilty, and when offered the chance to make a statement during the criminal case, I declined.
Right.
And then during the civil case, that's when I unleashed, because I knew that I was going to win no matter what.
Right.
So,
right. So let's acknowledge, first of all, kudos to you for taking responsibility for your actions in the criminal case. But tell me about the civil case now. Then, what exactly? How did you use this platform?
Well, I went in, quite confidently. I actually wore one of my sleeveless dresses where my tattoos were visible. That is, I wore it underneath a leather jacket, which I took off when the time was appropriate to. But I made sure that I was sitting on the side where Draken would have to see, where Lilith Anton Draken Sayer would have to see this tattoo.
All right, I recognize a red star with the best of them, but explain this to me. What am I looking at?
So this is actually a memorial to a dead friend of mine, who was a communist, and he had tattoos on the back of his hands. One was an alpha and one was an omega, and so
right, the omega.
La-di-da.
Yep. Okay.
And yeah. So anyway, so Lilith Anton Draken Sayer presented her bill, that the same bill that she had presented at the restitution hearings.
Right.
And
the same bill that she's already getting paid for, apparently. So
yes.
Right.
Yes. And then when it came time for me to say my piece, I started out with saying, yeah, this has already been taken care of. This was decided in the restitution hearings. This is a waste of everybody's time. This is a spite move, and that it's already been settled, and that this is again, it's double dipping. And then I transitioned into my spiel about I'm not sorry for what I did. I feel no remorse about it. This person is a domestic abuser. I've known this. I knew this person before I did what I did. There's history, and there's further reason to it. And I was able to say that this person was a Nazi. And that they had publicly, they're self-proclaimed, like there is video footage available on Twitter where she identifies herself and her group of friends as multicultural Nazis.
Multicultural Nazis. So on the one hand, we've got intersectional feminism, and on the other hand, we've got multicultural Nazis. Holy Christ. Yeah. That doesn't make it better.
Nope. Nope.
I didn't know that was a thing. Multicultural Nazis. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No, like this wasn't me just going up to some random person. No. Right. Like
what's the rule about internet discussions and Nazis? Goddard's law is dead, right?
Even he himself said, by all means call these people Nazis. That's exactly what they are.
I mean, about the time you're waving a swastika.
Godwin.
Sorry, not Goddard. Yes.
Godwin's law.
Let's do that segment again. Godwin's law is dead, basically, right?
Oh yeah. Even Godwin himself said, by all means call these people Nazis, because that's exactly what they are.
That is crazy. But now let's take a step back here and let's look at it. Let's take a more philosophical directions discussion, because violence in politics, and this is not, I'm not suggesting that by punching one Nazi you spurred a revolution. I can look around.
No. I was inspired by the punch that was seen across the world from the J20 event at Trump's inauguration with Richard Spencer.
Okay. And yet though, here we are all these years later, still enough people to go and literally take the US Capitol, something I wouldn't have thought possible unless the president was willing to sabotage their security forces. We spent $700 billion on defense. You would have thought our Capitol building would have been a little more safe than that. It was taken by Duck Dynasty and some idiot in a Chewbacca bikini. But yeah, I mean, but there is a long history in this country and in globally speaking of violence in politics. And I think there's a bigger question here, because there are some people that are out there, no doubt. There are still some, and I feel like there's less than before, saying we got to come together. This isn't the answer. All this division, whatever. That voice is still there. I do believe, and maybe it's my wild-eyed optimism, bless my cotton socks, but I do believe it is diminished a bit. I don't think it's as loud as it has been in the past. I think people are beginning to realize, holy shit, no, there are literal fascists here who want to kill us. And they're fine. I mean, this isn't anything new. This has been going on easily since the beginning of the Bush administration. And I could trace it back to the start of 1993, when I, at least personally, when I first became aware of Rush Limbaugh and I saw where this was going. And I heard people talking. This is nothing new, folks. The only thing that's new, the only thing Trump did was take the lid off of it, expose it to the light of day. But I mean, but I guess, like, I mean, I don't know, is how much, what are your thoughts on political violence and what's going on right now? I mean, I'm guessing you're not all about unity.
No, there can be no unity with fascists. Just straight up. Brain fart. That's the consequence of me being a little bit stoned from pulling on the vape while we do this.
I think I might leave that in.
Good. I mean, obviously, you know, I have my position that I've very well made clear just by my actions alone, and you know, the fact that I, you know, established a criminal record doing so.
Now, fourth degree assault, is that a felony? That's not a felony.
No, it's a misdemeanor.
Okay, right.
So I can
But
still vote. Suck on it, Republicans.
But the deep state does know all about you now, right?
Oh yeah. The funny thing too is I had trained to become a peer counselor, but I did not complete the process to become certified and employed as one.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons why was because I didn't want to put my prints on file. And then I went and committed a crime, and now my prints are on file. So yeah.
Okay. Wow. So the other thing, as we're talking about, and the right wing is famous for these double standards, because like I mentioned earlier, this guy, whatever, I'm not going to give him more press. This guy in law enforcement today or whatever, this brilliant piece of journalism, he talks about these rallies as if they're what the fuck is a First Amendment rally? Like, oh, they're not going to support people traveling to support their First Amendment rights. And it's like, wait, just because you're talking doesn't mean that you're supporting your First Amendment. Like, it's absolutely asinine.
It's just a dog whistle, you know. It's because they can't, you know, outright say, you know, the stuff that they actually want to say, you know, like
again, that's the scary thing. They kind of do, and there hasn't really been that much of a consequence. I mean, they can whine about cancel culture, but firing an actor here or an actress there has not changed the level of just big. I mean, I can't even, like, there's racism, there's sexism.
Funny, the party of responsibility and personal responsibility and, you know, due diligence is complaining about consequences. Consequences for misconduct.
Nothing, I think nothing could sum it up more beautifully than Mitch McConnell voting to acquit Trump, and then the very next day giving a speech saying he's totally responsible for everything that happened. It's you motherfucker. How do you, like, if there's anything that says our system is broken, that's it in a nutshell right there. I mean, But now
It's funny that the dude looks like a turtle and sounds like Foghorn Leghorn. Like, at least we have that. Along with the fact that he's a terrible fucking person, but at least.
yeah. Well, I mean,
I say, I'm a big fucking hypocrite.
I don't know how we'll ever. Well, I know how we'll live it down, and that's because people in Kentucky are going to consistently vote against their economic interests because go team go.
Yeah.
In America, sports like politics and politics like sports, and that's really the cause of all of our problems.
Oh yeah. My disdain towards Mitch McConnell is immeasurable.
Right, and yet, let's be fair. I'm guessing you're not pinning all of your hopes that Joe Biden's going to fix all the world's problems.
Oh, no. I am by no means a Biden supporter. I was just a damage control voter.
Well, and this damage control voter thanks you for your vote. Because, yeah, there was some damage control that needed to be done. It was getting a bit out of hand. There was a meme that I've been using a lot lately, and it goes, here's a hearty fuck you to everyone who was saying I was overreacting in November of 2016. And I caught a lot of flack at the time for that. I took a lot of shit from socialists, from anarcho-communists, from Bernie or Busters for basically saying, guys, for fuck's sake, you gotta vote Hillary. Like, come on. And I despise Hillary Clinton. Let's be very clear. I'm not a Clinton fan. And I'm not I don't hate Biden. I could find reasons to hate Biden if I wanted to. I'm not a big Biden fan either when it comes right down to, like you say, damage control. Jesus, let's try not batshit insane for a start.
Oh yeah.
God. But okay, but there's the right-wing double standard here, of course, because they want to portray what you did in the worst possible light and portray their own actions as completely patriotic, because there's nothing more patriotic than overthrowing your own government. Well, that is patriotic if you win. It's not patriotic if you lose, however, and they really lost because, oh my God, they are a bunch of fucking losers. But they
and also, I don't know, to me, patriotism does not mean fascism.
It shouldn't. I feel like it shouldn't.
They call themselves patriots, but they act like fascists. So
and the weird thing is they're like they are fascists, but they're somehow for small government. I really logic just is not their strong suit, clearly. But they'd rather everything, like they'd rather their prisons be private and like private companies own them rather than the government. Now that is a great segue. That is a great segue, because I think part of if you needed any reason, and I oppose private prisons for a million different reasons, but if you wanted a principled one, if you wanted one that I would think everybody can agree on, conservatives, Republicans, right, left, you shouldn't profit off of crime. I mean, like, I think that's just a general principle. You shouldn't profit off of crime. And for-profit prisons, I mean, you say whatever you want about it, they are literally profiting off of crime. They need crime in order to make a profit. And we all know capitalists want growth, which means they need more crime or more severe sentences. But speaking of profiting off of crime, let's just circle back to GoFundMe or to fundraising companies in general, PayPal, etc., who don't want to get involved in politics, so they say, don't want to fund criminal behavior, be that bail, restitution, criminal fines, etc. And I mean, okay, in a principled way, that's fair. We were talking before the show a little bit. Do you think you were surprised that you were able to do what you did via GoFundMe?
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't able to raise the full amount within the year that it was up before it expired.
That's depressing.
Yeah. Oh well. I mean, I'm grateful for the help that I was able to get.
Right.
And honestly, I feel like I don't know, if I could have just done it through PayPal, it probably would have been easier, and they wouldn't have taken a cut out of it,
Right.
if it were done accordingly. But you know,
Well, and that's the thing people need to understand when they talk about cancel culture and whatnot. YouTube, Google, Facebook, whatever, and these companies, they're making a profit off of what they do. So it's not even a question of do they support something, but are they willing to profit off it? I mean, do you think there's a is there any evidence that there's a left-wing bias or a socialist bias or whatever from the GoFundMe people, or do you think you just fell through the cracks and got lucky? Because this guy found you. He didn't find 10 different examples. He found you.
yeah, I don't know. Well, maybe there were some keyword searches that matched up with the description that I had put up for it.
Right.
Because you know, I did lay out all the details, you know, like the chart, like again, I was as transparent and forward as I could be.
Right, and I can vouch for that. I mean, I remember the time. It's like all laid out. It's like there's no question about what you are supporting and what you. That's why I gave my money. But yeah, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. But that's my best guess. Like the fundraiser was titled "The Price of a Punch," and yeah, you know, I feel like it's just I feel like maybe I just got I got lucky, or maybe or I don't know, maybe mine was actually acceptable. I don't really know. Like I
because I mean,
didn't have them it wasn't reviewed or anything like that.
it
I don't
wasn't
think it was complained
specifically
about until after the fact.
bail. It's like they mentioned bail. They mentioned like their policy. If you read it, it's very specific, but it doesn't necessarily describe what you were doing. Although letter of the law, spirit of the law, whatever. I mean,
Yeah, did it say anything about restitution?
it did not use that word. It did not use that
There
word.
we have it.
That's the thing. And I'm like maybe, and I mean, I'm not, and this was something that Tara and I touched on last week. I'm not opposed to companies just deciding to take a side, to basically say, no, we're not going to support hate. We're not going to support violence. We're not going to support fascism. We're not going to support Nazism. It's like, you know what? It's not about, we're just going to support free speech absent any context. And I don't know that GoFundMe has done that. I don't want to put them on, you know, oh, everyone don't boycott GoFundMe or whatever. Like, I don't know what happened here exactly. But like, I think companies need to just, if Facebook or Google or whatever, or YouTube is going to decide they're going to censor fucking everybody, basically, like nobody can say anything remotely controversial anymore because everyone's too offended. Well, take a side. You know, take a side and decide, you know what, we're going to have actual human beings with actual biases that we're going to be very clear about, review these things. Because fuck you, that's why you've gone too far. I mean, that's how I would.
I mean, you know, isn't that what conservatives want? You know, is, you know, private companies to be able to do whatever the fuck they want, you know?
They love the free market until it went against them, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, and to anyone who's, if anybody's under any biases or if anybody is under any illusions about Facebook having a right-wing bias and all of that, in the last 70 days, roughly, I came off of a 30-day Facebook ban. I had access to my account for 1 hour before I was serving another 30-day Facebook ban. So no, fuck you. They are not going after only conservatives. Not possible.
Oh yeah, I've been treading lightly.
I am now.
Yeah.
You pull up my page of offenses, and it's like it opens, and then the bar on the side starts getting smaller. I'm like, oh shit, I better be more careful here. I'm gonna lose this page and.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, you know what? I mean, hopefully, again, you know what, folks, I guess what is the lesson of this? Punch Nazis, don't punch Nazis. Where are we going to leave on this one? Punch Nazis if you have the money. I don't know what's the lesson of all this? What's the takeaway?
Pride come before the fall.
Okay, fair enough. But you know what? I'm not ready to give up pride anytime soon. To you?
Oh yeah. No. I mean, I am very much a proud, non-binary, queer as hell. Debonair, pseudo cosmopolitan.
That is a lot of syllables. That sounds good though. I dig it. I dig it. So we're gonna close out. There was actually there's a bit of a musical number which we used to do a lot on Rainbow, and I feel like we should probably close out with some music. And there's a song that you've got that I think sums up this whole bit pretty nicely. You want to what is this having? Does this have a title track? What is this? What is it called?
Yeah. So because this track starts out with a cover of a, I believe, Bass Nectar song. I think it's Bass Nectar that does the song "Where's Your Head At." It's "Where's Your Head At, Lads."
Okay.
That way, it's recognized that it's that it starts out as a cover, but then it becomes its own thing, and it's like, hey.
Right. And the song is?
Beg your pardon?
And the song is?
Oh, it's called Where I just named it "Where's Your Head At, Lads."
Okay. Gotcha.
I am dubbing it as being as part of my my current project that I'm trying to get off the ground once COVID is over, called Wicked Gaze.
All right. Well, we'll hear it. And guys, thank you very much. And Skarrlett, thank you very much for sharing your story, coming on. Hopefully, hold on. Let me say that again. Jesus Christ. That was bad. Well, Skarrlett, it's been great having you on, and we're gonna close out with Wicked Gaze.
Wicked Gaze, Where's Your Head At, Lads?
You're getting everyone's getting the unedited version because, damn. Okay, let's try that one more time. All right. Well, we're gonna close out on some. One more time. What's the name of the song?
So the band is Wicked Gaze, and the song is "Where's Your Head At, Lads?"
Wicked Gaze. All right. Well, we're going to close out with "Where's Your Head At, Lads" by Wicked Gaze. Skarrlett, it's been great having you on. Hope to hear from you again soon.
Oh yeah, it's always a pleasure.
All right. We'll play the song and then I'll do some outro. Okay. Wow. That was, yeah. I think we were going pretty good until the end. I don't know what happened to me. Okay.
Yeah. Shit happens.
All right, sweet. So that's it. That's all we got. So anyway,
okay.
That was fun. Hopefully you felt that you had the chance to say your piece, and hopefully I didn't talk too much. It's a problem.
Oh yeah. No.
I'm a bit rusty, and I've noticed I need to balance that out a bit. Tara's interview, it was terrible. I was like, I had an hour and a half, and I literally cut out 20 minutes worth of me yapping. It's like,
oh my goodness.
It's like, I'm like, holy shit, who's the fucking guest here? What the fuck? Get rid of all this shit, man. So yeah. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and stop.